Once upon a time, in a small, picturesque village surrounded by rolling hills and lush green fields, lived a boy named Arjun and a girl named Maya. Arjun was an energetic and curious 12-year-old who loved exploring the outdoors, climbing trees, and skipping stones on the village river. Maya, a year younger, was quiet and thoughtful, always with her nose in a book, dreaming of faraway lands and adventures. The two had been neighbors since they were little, but their personalities couldn't have been more different. While Arjun spent his days chasing butterflies and racing his friends, Maya preferred the shade of the old banyan tree, where she would sit for hours, lost in her stories. Though their paths often crossed, they had never spent much time together, until one summer afternoon changed everything. It was the start of the summer holidays, and Arjun's friends had gone to visit relatives in another town. Feeling bored, he wandered aimlessly until he saw Maya sitting under the banyan tree. She was engrossed in a thick book with a colorful cover. "What's so interesting about sitting and reading?" Arjun called out, plopping down beside her. Maya looked up, slightly annoyed but also amused. "It's not just sitting and reading. This book is about a pirate who finds a secret island full of treasure." Arjun's eyes lit up. "Pirates. Treasure. That sounds fun. Do you think we could find a treasure in our village?" Maya closed her book and thought for a moment. "Well, maybe we could make our own adventure." And so began their summer of friendship and exploration. Maya, with her vivid imagination, would weave stories about hidden treasures, magical creatures, and secret hideouts. Arjun, ever the adventurer, would turn her tales into real-life escapades. Together, they mapped out the village, marking mystical spots on a piece of paper they called their treasure map. One day, while exploring the forest near the village, Maya pointed to an old, crumbling well covered in moss. "That could be the entrance to an ancient underground kingdom," she whispered dramatically. Arjun's eyes widened. "Let's check it out." The two peered into the well, their reflections shimmering in the water below. They tossed a pebble and waited for the splash. It echoed, making the well seem deeper than it was. Laughing, they imagined themselves as explorers discovering lost kingdoms. As the summer days passed, their adventures became more daring. They ventured to the top of the hill to see the sunrise, built a fort from fallen branches, and even hosted a feast of mangoes they picked from the orchard. Their bond grew stronger with every story shared and every laugh echoed in the breeze. One evening, as they sat on a haystack watching the fireflies light up the night, Arjun said, "You know, I always thought reading was boring. But you make it sound like magic." Maya smiled. "And I used to think running around was silly. But with you, it feels like an adventure." They realized how much they had learned from each other. Maya had taught Arjun to see the wonder in stories and imagination, while Arjun had shown Maya the joy of turning those stories into real-life adventures. When the summer ended, and the village returned to its usual routine, Arjun and Maya's friendship remained strong. They continued to explore, dream, and create, their bond becoming the talk of the village. People often saw them and smiled, reminded that even the most different of souls could find common ground. Years later, Arjun and Maya would look back on that summer as the beginning of a lifelong friendship. It was the summer when the boy who loved the outdoors and the girl who loved books taught each other that the world is full of stories waiting to be told and adventures waiting to be lived. And so, their story became a treasure of its own, buried not in the ground but in their hearts forever.